Trust me.
This could be close.
I think we all felt, everybody felt that this was going to be a successful movie. I mean, it was designed to be extremely entertaining, and it seemed to work on that emotional level, right? From the concept.
I think that when you make a movie that is popular and then goes almost beyond popularity and becomes part of the popular culture, you kind of tend to say, I guess that kind of got under the skin of, people who love movies. And that was one of the greatest, I think, aftershocks of making that movie. I began hearing the lines and I began seeing kids playing Raiders games. I mean, it was really interesting to see that sort of happen.
It was a giant turning point in my career to be associated with the first movie, mainly because I was sandwiched between George and Stephen. And, certainly you hope that something great is going to come out of the relationship, and it certainly has. So when I look back on it, at the time it was very exciting, but it had to be a secret, so I couldn't tell anybody. I didn't even tell my mom that I was doing this because George said, you can't tell anybody.
Stephen put this on my desk within maybe 3 weeks after we had finished the movie 1941. And I had moved in as his assistant. And he said, read this. It's my next movie. Don't tell anybody about it. And I just kept going page by page by page. And it was incredible. It's still one of the best scripts I've ever read. And from that point on, it was a real ride.
You know why the character's called Dr. Indiana Jones? Indiana is the name of George's dog.
Everyone has a positive attitude when they do something like this, and you feel that you're doing the best job you can with it, or you hope you are. But I never anticipate success in that order of magnitude that the first three films achieved. I was surprised by it. I was delighted by it. And I was quite happy to do each of them as they came. More than happy. I had a great, great time doing all three of those films.
Just before you make that break, it's like consideration, and choose that over this.
Okay. I was, very young in the process. So for me, when I first read Raiders of the Lost Ark, I saw Casablanca in my head. I mean, I saw a movie like Casablanca, and it turned out, in a sense to be, in Stephen's mind, much more of these kind of Saturday serial matinee kind of movies that he had grown up with. So I was quite stunned when I saw the film for the first time. What it looked like when it all came together.
It was 1981, so I was 18 years old, and it was so entertaining. I was in Milwaukee. I grew up near Milwaukee and went into Milwaukee to see some movie that was sold out, and they were having a sneak preview of this, which I'd never heard of, and so we said, well, let's see the movie with the funny title instead. So it was the perfect way to see a movie because I knew nothing about it and never heard of it, and it was just great. It was so incredibly entertaining, but it was the first movie I saw where it occurred to me that someone wrote this, in this case Larry Kasdan. And not only did somebody write this, but they probably had a really great time at the office when they were doing it because it just looked like such fun. And so it was sort of when I was starting to focus my thinking on being a screenwriter.
I didn't see it when it first came out. I left it a while. I think it was word of mouth said, hey, you should see this film, and I went along and seen it. Because you didn't really know what to expect. You knew it was kind of like one of those thriller or it was a chase movie. Or, I've never really gone to the pictures thinking about that. You just fancy a film.
I can't remember where I saw it. I have clear memories of seeing it. It was quite a sort of groundbreaking film, I think.
Was it?
The humour and the action coming together in perfect blend. There are images that I still remember very clearly. I mean, it's lasted well.
I believe I saw Raiders pretty well when it came out. Somewhat against my will, I have to say, because it was completely contrary to everything that I was trying to do at the time and the films that I wanted to be, and I wanted the Nouvelle Vague to reach England. And I'm looking at it again, certainly retrospectively, there is a great deal more to them than just a simple adventure. It deals with imagination, and it was a great creation.
Excuse me.
You could get killed chasing after your damn fortune and glory.
Maybe. But not today.
Of course, you know, everyone in my primary school class wanted to kiss Harrison Ford, but I actually wanted to be Harrison Ford. I wanted to be Indiana Jones.
Well, my dad used to watch a lot of westerns. We'd watch a lot of spaghetti westerns. And other than that, I don't really